To start, we're talking about marketing, and we're talking about presenting your law firm online visibility, basically how you're represented when people are going to be searching for your firm or for legal services that you can provide from your firm. So it's always going to start with the domain. It'll always start with a website. And that being said, according to my video series, is this going to be a complete DIY approach, or is this going to be partially DIY? And the first way you can look at that is really from your website. So we're all familiar with GoDaddy. My take on that really is that GoDaddy is fantastic for domain names and it's terrible for hosting and building websites. We'll go into that more detail a little bit later, but let's just leave it at that. So GoDaddy is going to have different options here where they will have some sort of options where it is partially DIY. It can be that you can build a website just from the beginning and you can use their website builder. There are situations that you can be in where you can use Squarespace to maybe be your provider for a website where it's more drag and drop. You can put something together much sooner than later. Same with Weebly. I don't really know a million different builders. I'm not going to go through here and weigh the pros and cons of each one because I don't use website builders, but it doesn't mean that it's not a great option for a DIY. That's the whole point. So they all have their merits, and you'll do your research on it. But typically what will happen is it'll come down to how much time it takes, the easy use, the learning curve. Squarespace and Weebly, they aren't terribly expensive. A lot of times they'll include a domain name. You can see here that it redirected me to the homepage for some reason, but I'll click on the pricing again. And you can see here pretty much how they set it up here. They're saying, free basic use. You'll probably not get your own dedicated domain names, but then personal is once that starts happening. So that's pretty cheap. A domain name, as you'll see, is anywhere between like $10 and $15. Hosting is a little bit more expensive, but really, it really shouldn't be. If you're in a situation where you're spending several $100s for hosting, there's almost no reason for that unless you happen to get 100,000 visitors a day, which then 99.9% of legal websites do not. So hosting can be anywhere between, if you prepay for a year, $50 to $100 max. Sometimes you get stuck in a GoDaddy package where they got you at $12 a month, which is $144 a year. Not really an ideal situation, but you can see here that professional performance, you'll read about it. Some of these things might not make a lot of sense at first, like free SSL, that basically, you see at the top that something's HTTP versus HTTPS. HTTPS is what Google's looking for nowadays. Add third-party code, that has its merits for some things. Unlimited storage, you don't have to worry about that because you're never going to store more than you need on any server. And yeah, not to get really nuanced on here. E-commerce is not relevant for law firm websites. Marketing, of course, they're going to see a couple of things here. Really topical, but really, if you're going into this and you just are like, I need a solution, I need to get something up as quickly as possible, definitely go with the builder. If you're in it for the long run, you want to be more hands-on, you want more customization, you're going to be looking at buying a domain and then getting hosting for it. And I'm going to guide you through that process because the other processes for the website builders are pretty straightforward. They have their own tutorials and there's no way that I could explain it better than they explain it themselves.